You're listening to The Builder's Mindset with Mike DiGiovanni, presented by Amazing Mindsets.
Welcome back. It's time for another episode of The Builder's Mindset. And we're going to do a little sub-version here. Every once in a while, a headline grabs my attention. And every once in a while, I feel the need to read the whole thing. We should do that more often. So it's time for horrible headlines. And why here at The Builder's Mindset are we talking about horrible headlines? Well, because this one's about the economy. And I think headlines in the economy really mess with consumer confidence when the journalistic, what's the word I'm looking for here? When we take some liberties a little too far, in my opinion, with our headlines. Last week, I was on LinkedIn, and in the LinkedIn wrap-up, I think it was, it might have been Thursday, they mentioned this, I'll read the headline right now. Recession is coming before end of 2025, comma. Generally, quote unquote, pessimistic corporate CFOs say, CNBC survey, okay? It's an article published March 25th on the CNBC website, and it was used in the LinkedIn. LinkedIn does a daily wrap-up. Not unlike some of the things we do at The Builder's Mindset. We send out a weekly newsletter. I read articles all week long about home building, and then we'll kind of summarize them a little bit. We'll show some stuff out there and then give you the link to the whole article. But what we do a little bit different, in my opinion, and we'll put in the show notes, we'll put the link to the original article, and we'll also put a link to the LinkedIn wrap-up, because I was actually disappointed not only with the article, but also in how the LinkedIn wrap-up handled this as well too. When the Builder's Mindset does its weekly newsletter, we share what's up in our What's Up in Home Building section. I read tons and tons of articles throughout the week and the month focused on home building, and we'll do a little summary of it. We'll put that summary in because we know people are busy, right? I get that. So we'll do a summary of the article, not just the headline and the high points, and then we'll put a link to the whole article. So if you want to read the whole article, you can. The trouble I have with this article and then with the follow-up from LinkedIn is that they focused on the headline, on the negativity. And when I read the whole article, I struggled to even make out the same assessment, particularly with the data set that they had. And so, this is a perfect example of headlines grabbing your attention, but do the headlines tell the truth? Okay, I'm not questioning the validity, but what I believe in this example here is the headline does not tell the true story in the intent of both the data set as well as the findings in the data set. So we're going to dive a little bit deep, and I'm going to share with you, when I read the whole article, some of the things that popped out for me that question the headline. Okay, so let's see. So fear. First off, it's a fear headline, right? It's a perfect example. This is an ominous headline claiming that CFOs are predicting a recession. It sounds scary. This could affect consumer confidence. It could affect businesses because they think it's going to affect consumer confidence. But here's the first part of the catch. You read the whole article, it tells you that 20 CFOs were surveyed. 20 CFOs. Does that sound like a lot? Did a little Google search. There's roughly 37,000 CFOs in the United States. 20 is a very tiny, underrepresented sliver, in my opinion. That's not a statistically valid sample. Also, in my opinion, that's like a focus group, like a little focus group out of 37,000. I mean, do the math. It's like, okay. So now that we've established how many people were asked to create this very scary, ominous, recession-laden headline, the survey results weren't even all gloom and doom either. 45% of the 20 said that they'll maintain their CapEx spending. For those of you who may or may not know, CapEx spending, capital expenditures, that's investments that businesses are going to make in growing their company by buying equipment, buying vehicles, investments in large purchases to further their business. 45% said they'll maintain. There's a gloom and doom recession coming. You should be hunkering down your dollars. But no, 45 are maintain. Now wait for it. 35% plan to increase their CapEx spending. So 80% of the 20 said they plan to maintain or increase their CapEx spending. Does that sound like an economy that's collapsing? But let me read the headline again. Recession is coming before end of 2025. Generally pessimistic corporate CFOs say, according to a CNBC survey. So once again, I think that data from that very small sample actually is positive. If you told me 80% of companies, in light of where we're at economically and all the nervousness, everything going, if you told me 80% of CFOs surveyed plan to maintain or increase their CapEx spending, that could be the headline for this article. 80% of CFOs surveyed plan to maintain or increase their CapEx spending. That would sound like the complete opposite of the survey. Okay, so anyway, we keep going. So even more telling was that 75% of CFOs said they're optimistic about their own industry. But the headline still skips all that. What if the article's title was 75% of CFOs surveyed are optimistic about their industry and 80% plan to maintain or increase CapEx spending? Totally different than recession's coming. So this is the danger of headline-driven thinking. If you don't take the time to read the full story, you'll be at the mercy of the media spin, especially in business, where your decisions affect teams, customers, and communities, home builders. So we need to read deeper because we can't trust the headlines. So that's why I often say, on LinkedIn, I say the devil's in the details. I share this a lot. These articles often hide the truth behind the outrage bait. I mean, this is like just so misleading, this headline. Leaders, think critically. Builders, read deeper. Don't let these headlines lead your strategy. Let truth do that. How do you get the truth? Read the entire article. Because once again, I'm being really clear about this. Everything in the article is factual. I just take issue with the fact that it implies that there's a big survey when there's only 20 out of arguably 37,000 CFOs. This is really more of a focus group than anything else. And number two, it implies generally pessimistic, but I gave 2 data points that were referenced in the article that in my opinion are very optimistic. What if we said, in light of tariffs and all the other stuff that's going on in global economics right now, driven by the new administration, 75% of CFOs are optimistic about their industry and 80% plan to maintain or increase their CapEx spending. Tell me, it's the complete opposite headline, but it could be the perfect headline for this particular article. Remember, the devil's in the details. Read deeper. Don't be subject to media spin and headline clickbait. If a headline piques your interest, read the article. Heck, you can take it and stick it into ChatGPT if it's one of those really long-winded ones, and it'll give you a summary of what's in the article. Think a little bit. Go deeper. For more insightful stuff like this, please sign up for our newsletter where we share more focused stuff on home building in general. And I think actually we'll put some of these notes that we have here today on this article in the What's Up in Home Building that comes out every Monday. Sign up for it. Link will be in the show notes. Hope you're having a great day. Enjoy the rest of your commute.
You're listening to The Builder's Mindset with Mike DiGiovanni, presented by Amazing Mindsets.